An assessment is essentially an evaluation of the current state of science and observations. So it's a snapshot in time to sort of synthesize what we know and what we don't know about a particular topic. The National Climate Assessment is something required by a law that was passed in 1990, the Global Change Research Act. And every 4 years, the nation is supposed to be doing a synthesis of all we know about climate science and what we don't know, and looking especially at the impacts on a series of sectors, as well as projecting into the future what those impacts might be. So it's actually a comprehensive review, not only of the science, but of the observations across the country, looking at sectors and regions. This National Climate Assessment is being designed extremely differently from those in the past, primarily because we're focusing on a sustained assessment process. And the reason that's important is there really isn't an existing infrastructure to support this kind of activity, and it takes a lot of energy and time and money to put together the infrastructure to make this happen. So we really don't want to have to do that all the time. We want to focus on the actual assessments, on what people perceive, what they see in their environments, but also vulnerabilities in coastal areas, in forests, in land and water, agriculture, etc. So having us focus on a sustained assessment as well as looking at indicators of change are very different from what we've done in the past. We're looking at an international context in ways we haven't before. We're having a web-based outcome as opposed to one that's just a written report. There's a number of ways that it's different. Michigan State and the University of Michigan have a joint operation called GLISA, the Great Lakes Integrated Science Assessment Team, and that is actually one of the regional hubs for the National Climate Assessment. So this group of people within academia will be reaching out across the Great Lakes region for information about impacts in each of the sectors and also doing an assessment of the climate science in the region. So the universities in Michigan are playing a major role. The things we do every day and the investments that people make are affected by what's going on in the climate, and obviously very much affected by extreme events that are connected to climate change as well. And so insurance and flood control, all kinds of private and public decision-making processes depend on understanding what we do and don't know about science. So this is an important activity, and it's a very engaged process, so we're really trying to reach out to people across the whole country to be involved. It is very important for people to build collaborations in order to understand the complexity of what's going on here. So climate doesn't just sort of come in as a single beam from outer space and there's no other underlying issue. There's all kinds of underlying issues that climate impacts. So things like the economy, the job situation, everything about existing environmental issues, water quality, endangered species, regulatory processes, interjurisdictional conflicts. All of these things actually increase vulnerability, and when you lay across the top of that, heat stress, aging populations, these things are all very interrelated, and climate is just one added stressor on top of a multitude of existing underlying vulnerabilities.